live here in many months. When I did it, I was doing it on StreamYard. We are back live right here. Talk to me about the setting because this is the new stand. I'm looking like up. So, hello. I'm coming to you with a new message. A new message of my intention is financial independence to take our life to the next level financially. These days, I talk about creating making sure you have a fund, just saving for emergency. Of course, making sure you pay our bills, making sure you don't have debt, all that, but making sure we have money saved up. So today, let me first say something. Who said these statements? Welcome. Can you see me? Oh, I didn't check the chat. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Good? Let me see. Please chat. Let me see if you can see me. I forgot some people in the chat. Those of you who are watching it later, it's a new series. I call it, I'm going to announce the series. Let me first ask you a few questions here. Who said savers are losers? Like if you save money, you are a loser. That means you don't know what you're doing. Yet I just said, let's save money. Then the same person said, your home is not an asset. And the same person also said, invest for cash flow. Those statements, do you know where they come from? They come from this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is the one who said those statements. So the series I'm starting today is discussing important books that have changed people's lives, including mine. And you're free to suggest also in the comments. You say, okay, bring this one. And so this one is most about personal finance, right? Knowing topics about money, how to make money, how to save, how to invest, all that. And this one is going to tell, after we discuss this one, we'll get into this one because this one is showing you the difference between an employee, a self-employed person, a business owner, an investor. And when he's discussing, he's showing us how to move ourselves from being employees and self-employed people to be business owners and investors. So like when I talk about this one, I end up talking about this one too, because I'm inviting you to try to get into the other side, business. So on this channel, by the way, if you're seeing for the first time, I'm Sherifa Nakalema. I'm a business owner in Virginia, USA. I own a corporation. It's called an S corporation. For those of you who know about registering businesses, it's an S corporation based here in Virginia, USA. And I registered it after learning the risk of doing a business in your name. You have to make sure these days what's more popular is LLCs, limited liability companies. If you're an international, you see business that have limited, that means limited liability. So that's why I registered an S corporation. But it has other advantages and disadvantages, but I created it for the advantages. So I care about, on this channel, make money online, working from home, working from anywhere, making passive income, making halal money, doing faceless content. Now I can advise you about faceless, school, starting a school community, those kind of topics. So if any of that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing to my channel and subscribe. After you subscribe, click on the bell so you are reminded when I'm come, like right now. And please, when they send you like a notification that I'm my video, if you don't like that topic, instead of stopping the notifications or just unsubscribing, just wait for a relevant video because all those topics are going to come different. I could be talking about school and you say, I don't like school. But next time I could talk about motivation, which is for everyone. Okay, so once you subscribe, please stay. Or if you're not sure yet, don't subscribe yet. I don't like people who subscribe and then unsubscribe. That's just a tip or point. So this series is going to be about books, impactful books. If you could see right behind me, all those are books that are paid for with real money. So those books, I'm going to start discussing them, picking one by one when they are relevant to these topics, right? But feel free to suggest your own topics, also your top books. Also, the reason I chose to get into this, also I'll be adding in other things. For example, when I'm talking about a business, I could talk about goals. SMART goals. I could come here and sharing about how to set a goal. Then at that time, I could also suggest how to get whatever I'm discussing. Like right now, I'm going to be talking just a little bit about this book and that book and this book, just for a few minutes, because today I'm not really getting into details. We'll do them next time. You'll find that I'm tagging these books here somewhere on the screen. So whatever I'm talking about, it'll be tagged here. Do you know why? Because recently, YouTube invited me to join their shopping, they call it YouTube shopping, for affiliate shopping. So I'm now an affiliate for YouTube, which makes it easier. Because before, I would ask you, click the link in the description, because I'm sending it where? To Amazon.com. Right now, everything I'm talking about will be right here, which is convenient. You don't have to get it if you don't need it. But if you think that, okay, she's talking about that book, sounds like a good book, it will be right here on the screen, which is good. I think even right now you can see it. Can you see? Can you see Kalibara or you can't? Okay, so now, when I started, okay, I see the sign. Thank you. When I started, I said, this guy made those statements. And when he made the statement, that was a long time ago in the 90s. People were saying, this man is crazy. How can he say savers are losers? How can he say my house is not an asset? That's how he got known. He was talking about this book. So today I want to talk about this book for a minute and then also introduce this one. But we're not discussing today. We're just introducing. So who is, maybe I should have talked about myself first before you say, why are you talking about these topics? My history, if you see me for the first time, I'm here in Virginia, USA. I mean, if you're getting to know me for the first time, I'm in Virginia, USA, but I'm originally from Uganda, East Africa. Before I came here, I had my degree in economics. I did economics, agriculture economics, and then I ended up working for the Uganda Revenue Authority, which is the tax organization. So I'm doing sales tax and VAT and all these things. That's when I decided, actually, that I wanted accounting. So when I came, I started adjusted for ACCA. Those of you who know, it's a British-based training. But then I came to America, and they don't have it here. Here they have CPA. So I chose to learn accounting. So I switched to accounting, although I never went to the level of CPA. My daughter's one who wants to do that. So these topics are very into me. I love these, and I want everyone to learn about these. So when some of you know my story, when my husband had an accident and I ended up cleaning homes, and that's when I had the corporation already, I switched it, cleaning business. And then later, I started learning how to make money online because I was thinking about working from home, those things like that. That's how I ended up on YouTube and what I'm doing right now, right? So at that time, I was introduced to this book already. And then this book and many others. He wrote so many books about almost everything. And this book, now that's me. That's about me. That's how I got to be interested in those topics because I do those things. Now, let's talk about Robert Kiyosaki. Robert, I'm reading from this book, this version. You know how he has many versions, but this version here. Robert Kiyosaki is best known as the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the #1 personal finance book of all time. He has challenged and changed the way tens of millions of people around the world think about money. He's an entrepreneur, educator, investor, and believes the world needs more entrepreneurs. Yeah, that's us. And then he had the perspective of saying, that, they said, with perspectives on money and investing that often contradict conventional wisdom. Robert Kiyosaki, has earned international reputation for straight talk, adherence, and courage, and has become a passionate and outspoken advocate for financial education. I won't say too much, but that's the version, this version. And I tagged it right there. You can see that version because he started off with an older version and they keep updating it. But I love this because it has mindset, it gets into other topics that you need to be able to change your mindset about money. So the main lessons in this one that we're going to discuss when I come again, because this is going to be a short live. he says, for you to make money and to understand how rich people make money, you have to know the difference between assets and liabilities. And you know, those terms are normally used by accountants because they talk about the balance sheet. Let's do the balance sheet, assets, liabilities, complicated. But he made it simple. He said, assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. I just recorded a short here and I explained two differences. For example, if a house is an asset, it's a house, for example, you rent out. You built a house, people live in it, they pay you every month. That's good. Or it's a commercial building, people have a business in there or an office, they pay you every month. That's an asset because it puts money in your pocket whenever you collect the money, right? Maybe you have a mortgage on it. So he explains, after you pay off the mortgage, you pay the amount for the bank. The difference is your cash flow. That's why he says invest for cash flow. But the reason why he got in trouble and he was saying a house is not an asset because he was talking about the house you live in. So if this is a house you live in, it's not an asset maybe until you decide to sell it or something because you live in it. So people were mad at him. He said, so how is it not an asset? He said, because you spend money on it. Like when the repairs come, you do it. When you pay every month, you pay anyway, every month. If you have a loan on it, like it's not an asset anyway. According to him, it makes some sense, although for some people it doesn't. Because they could say that, okay, if I didn't live in this house, I'd be paying rent somewhere else. And people also see, especially here in America, they see a house as an asset because what happens when you buy a house, it tends to increase in value. A house you bought maybe for 100,000 US dollars, at some point the value becomes 150,000. So you have some equity in there. That's why some people would not like it whenever he said the house is an asset, because people call this their investment. Also because they knew that, okay, after paying it off, it has a value and all that. But by his definition, he said, no, it's not an asset if you live in it. I hope that's not confusing. Then he also said, savers are losers. He said that in here. Savers are losers because you save money, it loses value. If you just keep your money in the bank and not use it you put it in there, you don't use it to grow it and all that, you are a loser. Because he would calculate and show you the money, or what if you had $10,000 20 years ago, it's not the same $10,000, the value is not the same right now. So that's why he said savers are losers. And then what else did he say? Invest for cash flow. Because what he did, what he was teaching, why I was so excited about it, he was saying that in fact, his story, assuming that was true what he's saying. Some people say it's not true. I didn't even talk to you about why the book is called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Maybe we'll talk about it another time. Or maybe I will say it before we leave. Let me see how much time I have. I'll tell you the story of why it's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. But he was telling the story of cash flow, why it's important, invest for cash flow. Because he said, let's assume you say, I want to be, financially independent, meaning, okay, if you can get to a point where all the bills in a month are paid by the money that just comes in, you don't have to go to work, you don't need a job anymore. There's a term he calls it. I don't think he calls it being wealthy. He calls it, some of you who have followed what he says, put in the comments when you watch this, because now you can say, I don't have to work. The money that comes in every month pays my bills. So the way he did it, he says you go out and buy a house. He was teaching how to buy a house without using any money. He has a whole book, Other People's Money. I have it here. Other People's Money. He was teaching other people's money, meaning you can use other people's money to buy a house. So when you buy it, as long as you make sure you pay the person who gave you the money and have a difference. So, for example, if you buy a house, and every month you are required to pay to the person who gave you the money, I'm sure maybe that's a bank, $1,000 every month. But you are able to rent the house for $1,500. That means there's a difference of $500. Now, that $500, you have to make sure you put some money aside for repairs and everything, because when you rent someone a house, you are responsible for repairs, for the other things that happen. You pay taxes, insurance, all that. So he said, okay, let's assume you put out maybe 200 reserved for that, or 300, depending on the situation. Just an example. The rest that stays is yours. That's why he says invest for cash flow. So that cash flow of 200 of 300, go and get another house and another house. So let's assume, for simplicity's sake, for this example, that your expenses are just $1,000 a month. So you need about 3 houses. So that's what he was teaching. Go get houses, rent them out. There's this cash flow. If it comes every month, it pays your bills. That's what he did, and he was able to retire early because of that. But for him, he started off with homes, and then he was buying apartments and all that. But always is the difference you make. The difference you make after you pay off all the expenses, that's your cash flow, and that's what's going to make you rich. Do you get the point? And did you follow that? Kalibala, let me see. Did you follow what I just explained about the cash flow? Give me a yes in the chat. Those of you who watch this later, give me a yes. Did you follow that? So, and then, hopefully you understood that one. We're going to go into the details later. This is just an intro that I'm introducing books. So the Rich Dad Poor Dad story. I still have a few minutes. I'm about to go. He says, some people say it's not true, but I believe it. I believe it's true. Because he said he was in Hawaii, and his dad was an educational school superintendent of schools over there. And then he was, he had 2 dads. He called them 2 dads, but actually only one real dad. And that's the one, the teacher, the one working in the government, the schools system. The second dad, he calls him dad later. He was just a friend to his dad, who had a son called Mike, and then Mike was a friend to this Robert in school. They were like 9 years old. So the 2 dads were friends, but this one started listening to the other guy who was not educated, I think 8th grade education level, but he was doing these things. He had convenience stores, he was driving a truck, and he started investing in properties. So he started learning from him. And it's a long story. He tells the story how they decided to want to learn how to make money, and he gave them a job, and it's a long one. So later, as he was trying to look at the 2 dads, the 2 men, he decided he wanted to learn from this one, the poor one. He wasn't rich then. He was still poor, but he was building something. Later, he died with an empire. He was a rich man. The other one would say, go to school, make sure you have a good education, have a good job and all that, make sure you get benefits. That was his real dad. But later he said that at some point when he was like 15 or 16 years, he said, I think this man makes more sense. So this one later became the rich dad, the one who used to be poor. And the one who had a big home and he was working the school system, he ended up dying without money. So rich dad, poor dad. But they flipped. That's how it happened. If you read this, he's telling the real stories of what was going on. And when one time they said to them, this rich dad, that want to work for him, they wanted to work for him, the young boys, they wanted to work for him. He said, okay, come. He took them to one of the stores where all they had to do was wipe off things and put them back, like cleaning up things and put them back on the shelves. And that's all they did. And he said, they'll give us penny like this, little money. He was mad. One day he said, no, I'm tired. I'm missing playing games with my friends. Now I'm here working. You see, this is all you give us? And guess what? That he went to quit. He went to quit his job. He went to quit. I'm not doing that anymore. And guess what? What do you think the answer was? Have you heard me tell this story before, Herbert? I don't see you responding to here. You can see, okay. Respond here. Tell me, have you heard me tell that story? Or when Robert went to quit the job, you know, he would take a bus every day to go to his friend's house to go meet this rich dad, they go to work, right? So this day he went to quit and he found his friend was not there. But this rich man, on top of, okay, he was really mad that he was being given very little money. But when he arrived, he didn't even talk to him. He was busy talking to other people and other people. He was teaching him these lessons. So he was even getting more mad. He said, I'm quitting today. Are you following? But so when he said he was quitting, You're not following. Okay, if you're not following, I'll stop the story. You get the book and understand. Just know that when he tried to quit, the rich dad wanted to teach him a lesson that actually you shouldn't be working for money. That's why rich people laugh at us because we think, oh, you have a job, you work for money. No. He said, you are working for me to learn lessons. That's the reason you are working. Or you are following. Oh, I thought you said you're not following. But if you now you want, he said, you came to me to learn, right? Are you still interested in learning? He said, yes. Okay. If you are interested in learning, now no more pay. You're going to work for zero. So that was funny. I said, what? I kept complaining, you don't pay me much. Now you say, you're not paying me anymore. I said, yes. In fact, I talked to your friend, that was the brother, no, the son. I talked to your friend already. He said he's okay with not working for any money. So he went to work already. So he said, you focus on learning then. You know, when they talk about apprenticeship, if you want to learn from, especially someone like the rich people, those, it's better to work without pay because you're going to focus more. You're going to learn better. So that's what happened. He got all these lessons working for free. He took away the money. That's the consequence. Okay, we're going to explore all these going forward. I'll be coming live whenever. So make sure you like it. Also, like, subscribe, put on notifications. Whenever I have a moment, I'm intending to be dressed like this for this series. You know, I have other series I'm having, like Share Your Story. I'm wearing Skool, their Skool t-shirts. They have a Skool logo right here. When you see that, that means I'm talking Skool. But this one, I want to dress like this. When I come, it means I'm reviewing books, and these are impactful books or other things that I think are important. Okay? Now, before I go, I have to connect that book to this book because he wrote both of them. Now, this one brings a very important message. I don't know if you can see this. He says that all the money we make in the whole world, he summarized it, comes from 4 quadrants. So when you're making money, you are making it from one of these. The first one is E. E stands for employee. Then S stands for self-employed person. Then the B stands for a business owner, and the I stands for investor. So when you are making money, it's coming from either one of those. But most people are making money from the E quadrant, their employees. And he said that's the worst one to be in because you are working for someone else, you are trading your hours for money. So that's not good. So you have to work slowly and make sure you move somewhere. You move somewhere. So employee is almost everyone who work jobs who get paid. Self-employed is someone who said, you know what, I want to create my own thing. Now, when you are online here doing YouTube or TikTok, whatever, those all are self-employed people. But self-employed had its own disadvantages. That's why I said that I own a corporation. Because if you are self-employed, make sure you don't register it in just your name. You make sure it's protected. It says an LLC or corporation like that. So that one can be dangerous because it dies with you. When it ends with you, and also it's too small. It cannot produce the right cash flow to keep you financially independent. So our intention should be to move to the business owners and the investor. And then when we are running, by the way, these books are tagged. I think you can see them. Can anyone see that I tagged them here? If you want to go read them, they are there. In this one, you know, he has different versions. He used to record, to write, and then update. So this updated version, I loved it because he explained really the importance of investing as business owners. He was saying that if you are choosing to invest your money, make sure you know how business works. You know, knowing how business works means you know how to read income statements or profit and loss and balance sheets, all that stuff. If you don't, then you don't know what you are investing. You don't know how to read the statements. So the conclusion from this newer version was that be a business owner first before you invest in businesses. That's the big trick that the big tip that I took out of it. I said, wow, don't just jump into investing in businesses unless you know how businesses are run. Because when you know how businesses are run, all you have to do is look at the balance sheet like this, profit and loss and balance sheet. You'll know. You'll know that this business is run by people who know what they're doing. This business has a future or not. So that's the big tip. But some people, you could be an employee who is also investing. You could be making your money, saving some and saving it in a business. That's fine. But if you want to be the big, you have to learn how businesses are done. So you invest your money properly, less risk. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to stop here for now because I have a Zoom coming up. This was a series. I may come back and reintroduce it the next time we come seriously. And the next time when I come, we're going to talk about assets, liabilities. What are assets? What are liabilities? Maybe we'll start by discussing needs and wants. Needs and wants. Once you start knowing that, oh, I shouldn't be spending this money because this is not a need. This is a want. An example, if you're going to buy a watch for time, a watch, do you have to buy the most expensive watch? If you're buying a watch to show you time, why does it have to be the most expensive watch? You could say, no, let me buy a relatively good watch so I save some money. So the difference between a need and a want. So we're going to go through that first, and then we go through asset liabilities. That will be our next lesson. When you see me, I won't say when, but around this time, hopefully, when I can't make it around this time, I'll show up anytime. Because the reason I show up sometimes at different times, I deal with people in different time zones. So the next one will be needs, wants, assets, liabilities. Let's know the difference. Because once we know the difference, we're going to start looking at how we spend our money. We're going to, anyone, I like to follow stories of rich people. Anyone who has made money, they had to be very careful how they spend their money. They had to. Because even if you went and borrowed money from the bank, if you don't use it the way it's supposed to be used, that's why you hear businesses fighting with bankruptcy. They wasted all the money, they don't have it. So, but if you are very, very careful, then it grows, the business grows. Thank you so much. And so you could go take a look at the other videos I've been recording recently. I'm talking to people who own school communities, and I call it Share Your Story. Share Your Story series. It's very interesting. It's real people. I've been talking to them, and I'm bringing more of those, but those will be during the week. And then on weekends, we do these lives. And feel free to talk about anything. Remember I mentioned I'm in the YouTube shopping. I'm thinking I could even bring hijab like this. I put them out for you if you want. If you're watching me and you're Muslim, comment on that. Do you want me to get hijabs like this? Because I could bring it and put it on the side for you to go get it if I think it's a good thing. But the series are going to be more about books and anything that takes our level to next level, personal development, stuff like that. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Please like it, share, and keep subscribe and come. Let's learn. If you want to suggest a book, put it in the comment. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.